It's still early, but Notre Dame's CJ Carr might be the best quarterback the Irish have had in decades. In his first season of playing time at the college level as a redshirt freshman, Carr put up some strong numbers for the Irish, throwing for over 2,700 yards with 24 touchdowns and just 6 interceptions. While he still has 3 years of eligibility left, Carr is already drawing significant interest from NFL scouts as a 6'3" quarterback with arm talent and impressive flashes in his first year as a starting QB. But what else is it about Carr that makes him stand out in what could be potentially a loaded quarterback class in the 2027 NFL Draft? Let's dive into some of the film from Carr's 2025 season to show you why you shouldn't sleep on the Notre Dame quarterback in today's episode of Best Available. Thank you for watching today's episode. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube if you're not already, and give us a follow on socials at BestAvailableYT. As always, a huge thank you to our members who continue to support the channel. If you would like to support the channel and get full access to my 2027 big board, it's already 25 plus prospects graded out. You'll get live updates on all of the rankings, all of the grades. If you would like access to that, details to that in the episode description. But let's go ahead and dive into the tape on Carr, who is very quickly might be my favorite quarterback in this class. I was torn between a few guys after doing the early quarterback rankings at the beginning of the week on who we were going to do a specific breakdown for, but just the more I sat on it, the more I just absolutely love CJ Carr's game. I think he is my favorite quarterback in this class, and I'm going to show you why today. There's a lot to like. And we're going to start with the game against NC State. I think he absolutely torched the Wolfpack in this game. We're going to have a really simple concept here. We're just going to slot fade. So we're just going to run a hitch here to hold this corner, and then we're just going to fade out here and then just try to get a one-on-one matchup, win a foot race against this defender. Pretty simple, but what I want to show you is just this arm talent. You know, Carr doesn't look that physically imposing by any stretch. I think that 6'3" measurement feels a little generous in my opinion, just watching him. But man, the arm talent is absolutely there. Let's go ahead and get this rolling, show you Carr's arm talent on this. So he's just going to get in that drop back 4-man rush, set his feet. He's getting ready to throw this throw. I mean, I think he just sees the corner's hips here, the DB's hips here. That DB is going to have to flip, turn. He's not going to win this foot race. Like, he's gearing up to throw this before this is even. He just knows that this wide receiver is going to win this foot race here. So gets ready, winds up to throw. He's throwing this as they're even, which is exactly what you want. You want to be able to throw this with anticipation. I like the footwork. I like the composure in the pocket. He's standing tall. He's stepping into this throw. He's following through. And then if I move the screen a little bit, he knows this guy's just winning a foot race. And then just the arm talent just hit this in stride is what I really enjoy. I mean, too many guys when they're leading a quarter, a wide receiver, can force the guy to slow down a little bit. And let me see if you can just see this arm. You just look at that ball explode out of the hand. I know you can't see him in frame, but if you look at the left side of the screen as we roll this, you'll just see that arm or that ball just fly into the screen right here. Just the velocity with which he can throw this and get that. That's not a short throw by any means. I mean, he's throwing this about the 25. That's 25, 35, 40, almost 45 yards in the air with legitimate velocity. Just a great throw on the slot fade. And what I appreciate there, not just the arm talent, which obviously really stands out, it is that anticipation. Just be like, all right, I see the leverage that the DB is holding against this guy in the slot. He feels that right here. Like, this guy is turning inside. Great route by here, the stutter step. Get him to commit a little bit more inside and then have to flip those hips. He's just never winning that foot race. That's just a great play all around by Carr. If you're going to play quarterback and thrive at the NFL level, you got to be able to throw in the middle of the field. I understand that that's not, there's an exception to that rule, and there's a couple of them with guys like Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts, guys that, have a good long ball, have mobility, but they have these other traits that are really, really good. They can make up for their lack of willingness or ability to throw in the middle of the field. Don't think CJ Carr has that particular skill set. He does have the talented arm to throw deep, but, not particularly mobile. I think he's an adequate athlete. So he's got to be able to throw in the middle of the field to have a more well-rounded passing repertoire. And this is a really good example of being able to throw in the middle of the field. I want you to pay attention to who he's staring at as soon as he gets the ball on the snap. His eyes are pointed at this linebacker. He wants to hold this linebacker as long as possible. He wants this linebacker to be focused on him and not the wide receiver coming around the concept. If he can hold this guy and keep him in this position for as long as possible, it's going to open up this middle of the field throw before safeties can react to it. So he's going to keep staring, keep holding, keep holding. You can see the receiver he's intending to go to. It's going to come around from right here. So you got to hold that defender long enough. Apologies, that's Eli Raritan, the tight end, pass catcher. But the same thing applies, right? We're still trying to hold this linebacker to open the throwing window to our pass catcher. So he keeps holding. As soon as he looks off, he's just like, all right, I'm ready. So he's now winding up, and we're not even in this throwing window yet. But the other important part about middle of the field, you got to be able to throw with anticipation on these throws. The second you're late on one of these, safety can come crashing down. This safety can come crashing down, lead to some turnover-worthy plays. We don't want that. So throwing with that anticipation, getting that in the window. He's throwing that with such good anticipation, neither of these safeties can catch up, close on the dig route. And then we've got a nice play after the catch from Raritan as well. This is the kind of stuff we need in the middle of the field. It's not sexy, but it is important, and I do appreciate, his eye discipline here, not giving away what he wants to do, holding that linebacker, and then winding up to throw before we're even in that window, and then still leading the tight end with accuracy. This is how we need to operate in the middle of the field to be successful in the NFL. This is going to be my favorite throw that we talk about all day. It's because I grew up a Packers fan, but Aaron Rodgers used to talk about this, that when he can see the back numbers or the back plate of a helmet from a defender, he considers the receiver that guy's covering to be open. He trusted his arm enough to fit into tight windows, knowing that when especially a second-level defender, a linebacker, has their head turned, they're just not going to have the reaction time to react to as that ball goes over their head. This is a great example of that from CJ Carr. So as we roll this, I want you to pay attention to Raritan. Again, number 9 on the left side of the screen. This linebacker is going to start carrying him. He's got turned. We're running this route. Carr's feeling pressure around the edge, but notice how he's just trying to stay tall, step into this. He's going to throw with a little touch. He just sees, hey, I can see the back of this defender's helmet. This tight end is open. He's going to throw with a little bit of loft, which I love, throw with some touch. And then it's just right in that bucket. By the time that's in the guy's hands, now the linebacker's hand is up trying to react to it. I love throws like this. Yes, it is open. We talked about the Aaron Rodgers anecdote, but it's still a really tight throw, especially when you've got pressure coming around the edge. What I really appreciate here, look how his shoulders and feet are aligned, straight line. They're trying to throw in this direction. That helps with your accuracy. But then as things collapse and he feels that pressure, he's still able to adjust and use that arm. And then still throw with a little loft. And then it's just pinpoint accuracy here, man. I could watch this play for an hour just because this reminds me of old prime Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not calling Carr Aaron Rodgers by any means, but this is just one of those throws he loved making up the seam. You got that linebacker in conflict trying to recover, chase down a pass catcher, and just throw over their head. It's beautiful stuff. Sometimes you play like Aaron Rodgers. Other times you play like Brett Favre in a derogatory sense. CJ Carr, man, true gunslinger, not afraid to push the ball vertically. I love a lot of that about him. But at the same time, we got to remember, this is a redshirt freshman in last season, first year playing college football. There's a lot to work on as far as decision making. So here he's going to feel a little, rushed. He's going to roll out of the pocket. This is, I believe, third down near the goal line, second or third down. Third down in the red zone. I get you want to try and make a play, but at this moment, it is tied 7-7. You're pretty close. It's a very makeable field goal if you don't get this. Don't need to force anything, right? Just take the lead if you can. So he's rolling out. He sees this receiver coming across the field, but he's bracketed. There's a defender behind him. There's this defender watching him. He just really wants to make a play here. Under duress, rolling out, just throws one up. And by the time he throws that up, man, there's two defenders trailing. That one easily jumps it. The decision-making here is just not good. I'm sure he got chewed out pretty bad on this one. Hey, man, I get you want to make a play, but you're under duress rolling to your right, and it's one receiver on, 4 defenders, at least 3. We don't need that, man. We need the points in a tie game. Just take what you can get and move on. This is some of the stuff that more playing time will help with, but that's just kind of the gunslinger mentality he's coming into now 2026 with from his 2025 tape that hopefully he can calm it down, rein it in a little bit. There's really not a whole lot to this one, but if you've watched this channel for a while, you're going to appreciate this hopefully as much as I do. Got a 2-minute drill, just trying to push down the field, get close to field goal range and just make some chunk plays, right? That's not really what we're showing here. I just want to show you the pocket movement here, very, very subtle, but it's a lot different than a lot of the guys that we've watched lately. So Carr's keeping his eyes downfield. He's feeling this like stunt, maybe blitz, just coming across the formation. He's feeling the stunt come across the formation. And instead of just like, back footing this or, trying to sidestep and then just sidearm it like we've watched a million quarterbacks do, this sounds so stupid to break down, but he's just taking a sidestep, that little subtle sidestep while keeping his shoulders and feet aligned. You can see that he didn't try and kick this foot out and then try and throw like this and have that all messed up. He's still sequenced, like shoulders, feet still point in the right direction, just took a half step, drives it, and then gets a completion for a nice big chunk play in a 2-minute drill. End up spiking it, couple throws to the flat, we get in field goal range pretty easily. It sounds so stupid, but I care so much about this. He feels that pressure just one step to the side. Keep those feet and shoulders aligned, because the reason I'm showing it is for the, more loyal viewers, because we've watched so many guys, like the Drew Allers of the world, that just want to rely solely on arm talent in a situation like this. But instead, it's just one step, then step up while keeping everything in line. I love it, man. Like, I love this stuff, even if it just seems very inconsequential. Still, sometimes there's instances where Carr just needs to make an off-script play, and he has the arm to do that, and this is a good example of it. Hey, Cat, the obligatory Luke cameo for the video. So we're going to climb up into this pocket, but we're going to see Raritan up the seam. He's going to see the same thing we talked about earlier. Hey, his head's turned. I think I can make this throw. Funky mechanics, right? Just off-script, just stepping into this, trying to make a play, and look, right in the tight end's hands. We got to give him credit for that one, man. That is absurd. Stepping into it, not a clean platform. Manages, it ends up being dropped by Raritan, but does get flagged for PI, so we get 15 yards out of it. This is just off-script playmaking, man. Not perfect, but he does draw the flag out of that throw. I love stuff like this. Yeah, sometimes he's making a little bit more wild decisions under duress, but when he sees that defender's back turned and he trusts his arm and makes has ball placement like that right in the tight end's hands, I got to give it to him, man. I'll let him cook a little bit more off script. I showed you my favorite throw of the game earlier, but this is my favorite play of the game, and it's all pre-snap. We are again talking about a first-year redshirt freshman. A lot of these guys are just relying on talent alone and just getting stuff done. And what I love here is we have a clear pressure look, right? We've got a little bit wider alignment from these edges. We've got these two linebackers mugged up in the A-gaps. And then we have this safety that's awfully close to the line of scrimmage. This feels like a pressure look, right? We've got a 4-man front. We could potentially have 7-man coming, right? And we only have 6 blockers at the moment. This looks like an issue, right? And if he's been watching film, he sees this formation with the mugged up backers, this safety, especially in the red zone, he's feeling a pressure look. So what does Carr do here? He goes, okay, we don't have enough numbers here, and I think we can make a play. So let's adjust this. Let's do a shift to the formation. He calls in the tight end like that. He flips the running back over. Now all of a sudden we've got numbers, and then you see this. He does this little hang 10 loose. Let me rewind it so you can see it. Watch all the animations. Bring in the tight end. He's going to look at the wide receiver to the left. He's calling a different hot route. So now all of a sudden we've got numbers. Yeah, this slot's now tight end. So if he comes and everyone else is coming, he's got to go hot. He's got to go hot read. So as we roll this, he has all this pressure. He reads it correctly. Safety's coming. Linebackers are coming. We've got a max pressure look. We've slid the protection all the way to the right with these linemen. We've got this on an island. We've got the running back to pick up the safety. This is all perfectly executed pre-snap. This is perfect. You got everything in motion in the red area to be like, all right, I'm handling this pressure look like this. And so you can see, because he did his homework, he got this shift going. He got the protection call fixed. He feels very comfortable, takes a nice deep drop, and then just hits the post. And it is wide open. The throw, don't care about, but this is my favorite play because of all of that organization to understand the situation, the formation he's seeing, calling in the tight end, making that audible to the wide receiver, making sure everyone's picked up, and they just execute it flawlessly. This is grown-up stuff that, I'm extremely impressed with from a first year starter, and I'm sure NFL scouts are paying attention more to stuff like this than some of the easy layup deep shots to a guy wide open. Moving on to the Boston College game, one thing that just keeps showing up on this tape is just Carr's ability to layer throws over second level defenders. So just throw with some loft over guys. I'm not gonna be able to draw that. I can't draw with depth on that. But throwing over guys like this, right? If you throw, a line drive at into a tight window with intermediate throw, it makes it a lot easier for these guys to jump it. Carr just has a real knack, along with the arm talent, to put some touch on balls and layer it over second level defenders. We've got our tight end, Eli Raridan. Huge fan. Think the Patriots got a steal out of him. He's just going to come across the formation like this. The problem with that throw is this guy occupying this space. So Carr's like, all right, I feel it. I'm going to just put some touch on this, loft this over. Such nice touch on this ball that, this second level defender is never getting an opportunity to throw it. And maybe you can nitpick and say it was like a tick behind the tight end, but I just like being able to throw a touch, make sure that there's no chance that that linebacker can jump that route. And this shows up regularly on intermediate throws from Carr. It's just that ability to just put a little loft on it, make sure that only your tight end can go up and get it, and make sure that there's no issue with anyone in between you and the tight end jumping that ball. With so much of college football just being so RPO, quick read heavy, it's nice every once in a while to see a quarterback actually be able to go through reads like on this play. Just like a true pro style reading the offense. So he's going to read. We're actually trying to run like a stuttered go on the left side of the screen. Sorry, I'm mirrored. On this side of the screen, right? We're going to run a stuttered go. And he's reading that like, hey, if this guy gets open, gets beat, I'm throwing it deep. But the DB does a great job the whole way. Covering that stutter go. So he pump fakes that, goes, all right, that DB did not bite. We're going to move on to our next read. So then we're going to start looking over here, start scanning the field, maybe the check down, but we see this defender's probably going to break on this check down, so we don't love that. So then I'm going to get turned again, and I'm just going to rifle over here to a guy coming across the formation. And if you look at the sequence, just look at his eyes this whole play of just how he's going through his reads here. Not there. Off the pump fake. Look here, look here. And then he just sees that other wide receiver coming across the formation, fits it in. I can change the view real quick so we can look at that route a bit better coming across the formation. But sees that, not feeling it. Then he sees this wide receiver, goes, perfect. He understands that there's a defender right here. That's good eyes. So then he's going to lead a little bit, throw with that anticipation. Nice throw going through the reads here. Again, just breaths of fresh air for me after watching so many RPO quarterbacks, seeing a guy be able to go through reads and not try and force a throw to the primary, first option, especially on a stutter go. If that stuff's covered, like that is a dangerous play to make. We talked about it earlier, but Carr is an adequate athlete. He can escape a little, he can scramble, and I do appreciate all of that. Like he's got enough ability with his legs, but dude, please slide. What are you doing, dude? Giving me a heart attack on this one. Like, just you gotta slide. That is such a not good hit we want to take. That is, Brian Dable getting mad at Jackson Dart in the preseason for lowering his helmet. Like, I can get that he's like maybe trying to throw to this tight end. The tight end's not looking, but as soon as he looks away, man, just go down. I don't care about the extra yard. I'd rather take a yard less and make sure you're not dead for the rest of this game. I'll give him credit though. I appreciate that he can extend plays with his legs a little bit. Not a top tier dual. He's not gonna be a dual threat guy, but he's got enough mobility. But brother, you better spend this offseason sliding, man. That gunslinger is just always in the back of Carr's head. It's like the bad guy on your shoulder. I just telling you, like, just throw it, dude. You can make it. You could make this throw. Rips this one right. And you're like, okay, what's he going for here? He's trying to split two safeties that are over the top on this. That's bad. Come on, man. We got to be better than that. It's just, and especially when you're going to get hit, like you're under duress, so you can't really throw this that accurately. It kind of makes me laugh, but like, it's another example of gunslinger syndrome from Carr, where he's like, oh yeah, my deep shots trying to split two safeties that are already closing on it, I can make that throw. Well, it'll come with experience. Making mistakes like this early in your career, make sure that you're not reinforcing bad habits, in my opinion. So get some of these mistakes out last year. Hopefully you can correct them this year. But it just made me laugh because I remember watching the tape and I was like, oh man, he's going deep here. And then I looked, I was like, what are you doing? This is not even remotely open. But listen, man, he just loves to throw the deep ball, and sometimes it really works out. This is going to be a good example of that. This is a 4th down in plus territory. They're just like, listen, we're taking a chance. We're really hoping to get a big play here. 4th down. We've got no single high safety help. We've just got man on man on the outside. He feels it. He's like, all right, cool. The post is going to be open. Great snap off on that route by Malachi Fields, by the way. A solid, better vertical route runner than I think he gets credit for. But that's beside the point. Nice post. So he's just like, I'm going to lead the post. Perfect. My big head is in here for a reason. I didn't want you to see this. This other guy goes on the other side. Is like, oh, perfect. Ball's coming to me. So while leading the post, because I think they're just running double posts, so just two guys coming across here deep on 4th down, ends up throwing to both of them. Fields ends up going up and getting it and just staying upright, gets the touchdown. I think it's very clearly going to Fields on this play, just because that's where Carr's looking the whole way. He feels that post, feels the snap off on the route, and he's trying to lead that post. That's just the problem sometimes when you run routes like this. They're just, when you're throwing deep, they're going to get in the way of each other sometimes, which is unfortunate, but a nice throw, shows off that arm talent and why Carr wants to throw deep all the time. Another example of that arm talent and then getting a safety, I believe it's this defender, in trouble, getting to bite on a play fake. So we're riding out that play fake pretty nicely, back turned. This guy's like, oh, I need to figure out what I'm doing. He realizes, oh, wow, I was stuck in the mud on the play fake. I'm way out of position. Carr reads that. He's like, huh, why is that safety sprinting backwards so fast? And he goes, oh, I've got to win. Like, that zone was vacated, so he's just going to rip this. And we've got the other defender coming across the field. This receiver does a nice job creating that separation. And then we just have the arm talent, man. Like, that's not an easy throw all the way to the 20. That's like a 50, 55-yard throw. He's throwing it from the inside the 30 and just rips that. And this is the arm talent I'm talking about. That is a beautiful spiral. Hits him in stride. It's so funny because every time I watch, like, he doesn't look like one of these guys that would have, a really strong arm based off his size and frame, but he can rip that. And I just love that he recognizes that safety out of position and is able to have that arm strength, 55 yards in the air, throw it over the top like that. That is a awfully nice play and good reaction and awareness to realize that corner got caught on the play action and knowing where to rip it. Last one of the Boston College game, but I just love the composure here. Let me get my head out of the way so you can see the top of the screen as well. But we're going to have a pretty heavy pressure look. We're going to send some extra rushers here, and it's going to get a little muddy. And what I really appreciate from Carr is little panic under duress. So many quarterbacks you watch, like, as soon as they feel an extra rusher, you feel their internal clock, get sped up. Their dropback's a lot faster. They're playing a lot more panicky in the pocket. But I just love... He displays a little bit, feels a little more comfortable dropping back to the side a little bit. Maybe you can nitpick that if you want to. I'm fine with it as long as the rest of the process looks clean. And then he's just stepping into this, launching it. And what I love is he doesn't have to lead across the field on this post. He trusts his arm enough that he can lead him forward and keep him going, that's just the kind of arm strength that we're working about. Great the tracking by the receiver as well, feeling that, and then hitting him in stride. Really impressive arm talent all around, but just the composure is what I really appreciate. From a guy with such little college playing experience to say that composed, not rush your process, hold for that deep shot, it looks really mature for a guy so young. I'm impressed by the post-snap processing here to make the right read. We've got a too high safety look here, so typically that can tell you a couple of things. You could be cover 2, where these two guys are playing deep, and then we've got flat defenders from the corners. Or we could have quarters, which is deep quarter, deep quarter, deep quarter, deep quarter. And then hopefully we have something underneath or a check down to hit, or we can influence with a vertical concept. But we're actually going to try and throw Carr a curveball with this. We're going to drop this safety down into, a hole zone defender or a hook zone. And then we're going to have this safety be deep third, deep third, deep third, and turn this into a cover 3 look post snap. Carr does a great job diagnosing this. This is what I love. He dropped that safety on the bottom of the screen, drops down here. So you can see we've rotated, climb down here, get into that zone, drop here. You can see that cover 3 look, right? Carr feels that. He goes, oh, this safety's dropping down, and he's going to throw a seam up to Raritan, which is exactly what we want. Safety's flat-footed. He knows what the coverage is. He knows this guy's not going to fall back because this is not his zone responsibility. So we have that zone, and you can see he's throwing with anticipation. He reads that safety. He goes perfect. We've got that seam, and he hits it in a really tight hole in cover 3. But, this is – talk about NFL. This is the ideal scenario against a cover 3 look, is to hit the seam up cover 3 immediately behind that drop safety and zone, because they're so focused about dropping, and this safety is coming across the field rotating from that too high look. So it creates this little bit of natural of a window, and the anticipation, he recognizes the drop, immediately recognizes it, and then throws with anticipation into that soft spot up the seam. Textbook NFL, like that's NFL ready against cover 3, full stop. Great play by Carr. You don't see a lot of hard counts at the college level, but we got one here, and Notre Dame is equipped at it. We are just a little paused after this guy's jumped, but he has jumped. We're reacting to it. You can see he's a little too far over his skis, so we're just going, all right, free play. Let's throw it. And what I appreciate about Carr here, he's got Malachi Fields on the right side of the screen, and he's just like, I trust this guy more than myself at this point. I'm just going to throw up, let him go get it. And what I love is he goes for the back shoulder on this one. Locate it to the sideline. We've got, outside leverage here. We're just going to adjust, let him high point it. Great placement on a free play. It's kind of a risk-free play. If you throw an interception, not the end of the world. You're going to be able to get away with it and just get the 5 yards. But I love that he's taking a shot on this free play and just understands and trusts his teammate, knowing that Malachi Fields is a jump ball specialist. Throw that back shoulder, let him high point it, get into the end zone. Love this play. I keep bringing up Aaron Rodgers, man, but some of these plays that he makes are a little Rodgersy in just the hard counts, the throwing at guys' heads turned. There's just some really fun advanced NFL quarterback play happening from Carr. Again, can't get over the fact that he's just a redshirt freshman doing this stuff. Not a lot here, but this is a nice, nifty blitz concept from Pittsburgh. They're going to rotate this linebacker over into the A-gap, and then they're going to sneak this defender in as well. Really try and overload the right side of this. And what I love about Carr, when they see something like this, especially like a twist like that, 2 blitzers coming from depth, maybe even 3. I believe this guy is coming from depth as well. Quarterbacks panic, man. They panic. Just watch Carr's feet, his drop, staying wide base, keeping his eyes downfield, keeping that wide base. He's not trying to panic. He's trying to sift through, step into, the clean spots of the pocket, and then just stands in, internal clock going, all right, let me just hit the quick hitch, knowing that's open. This is maturity that we want to see more of from him, is like consistently over these 3 games that we've watched. It's exactly what we want. Carr is remarkably mature for a redshirt freshman last year. And, he has, every reason in the world he could go back to school, especially in the NIL era after the 2026 season. But man, I know there's going to be NFL scouts salivating if he can take another, even just a slight jump forward in 26. He has a legitimate shot to be QB1 in this class. He's not the most talented, but mechanically, accuracy, arm talent, post-snap processing, pre-snap processing, he's got so much. And my former editor at the 33rd team, Ian Kenyon, has, I think, the perfect comp for him, which is CJ Stroud. Just a really effective pocket passer that can dissect you when he's playing at his best. This is the best Notre Dame quarterback I think I've watched. Even, as a kid, probably romanticized Brady Quinn a bit too much. He's probably better than Brady Quinn. This is a legit quarterback Notre Dame has, and I'm really excited to see what he can do this season. So hope you enjoyed this film breakdown. Let me know what you think of Carr. I might be moving him up already in the rankings after watching this again. So curious what you think. Let us know in the comments. We'll be back next week. It's running backs week, so stay tuned for that. And our classroom series breaking down run concepts, which feels fitting in running backs week, kicking off that classroom series, explaining all different types of run concepts in football. So send that over to your friends, loved ones, anyone you're trying to get to learn more about the game of football. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the nice summer weekend. Take care.